Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Rakata Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Bakak Badash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Well, I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. I'm in the car, actually, turning. And basically, this is just an in transit rant. You know, one more for the road. Why not, right? Or I'll figure out how to input rant inside the word in transit for the title. But anyway, I got this as the cover screen because it's definitely something we all need. We all in this flesh, and we are all weak, and we fail. But the scriptures tell you, the righteous man fall 7 times, but he get back up. And that's something we ought to hold on to. And the purpose of this rant, the main purpose is to say, don't be a hypocrite. If you preach or if you encourage somebody, you live your life by these scriptures, and you have been in any capacity giving somebody advice or, have preached, make sure you live the words you preach. Make sure everything, and that's why I say, when in my videos, I say I'm preaching to myself first, so I turn my sword on myself first. You have got to turn your sword, which is the Bible, all right? These scriptures, you cut that unprofitable flesh off with the word, all right? Or another way of saying it is you washing yourself by the water of the word. The true baptism is learning these scriptures properly, right? Under the men of GMS and those that preach the like doctrine, learning these scriptures properly and trimming that unprofitable flesh off of you. Or as Paul would say, you circumcise the heart, right? The heart is synonymous with the mind. Whatever a man thinketh, that so is he. So everything that you learn, everything that you have consumed, or, the Bible gives you parables on how to intake knowledge, and knowledge is synonymous with or learning and implementing the knowledge is synonymous with eating, right? Or drinking. Wine, food, the roll, eat this roll, okay? And it was in my mouth as sweet as honey, but in my belly it was bitter. All right, and those bitter things come up when, the Spirit may be on you to preach something and you don't know who it was for, but the Spirit may be on you to say something, and you say that, and then 2 weeks, maybe a month later, maybe even 5 years later, you are in that very situation. And it's very easy to get carnal because now you're the one in the uncomfortable position. You're the one that has to sit and stew and pray your way out or fast your way out of something, or look for whatever lesson that Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai has set for you within whatever fire that you're in. So it's important, again, that whatever you preach, and even say a prayer to that you're not a hypocrite. I said that prayer today because I'm one that is in the situation. All right, and I had to take a step back. I got carnal, and I got to thinking like, why this shit happened to me? Why things were straight. I was doing this, I was doing that, and then next thing you know, one problem hit, and then the next problem hit, and then another problem hit, and then you like, well, what the what's going on here? You got to remember to practice what you preach. And the very prayer that I prayed, and I'm only saying this in order to be edifying to somebody else, is that Lord, let me call into remembrance everything that I've said, every prayer that I've prayed, every lesson that I've taught, every piece of advice that I've given to someone else. Let me be able to call it into remembrance, so while I'm stewing in a fire, I don't get carnal, I don't lose my faith, I don't become a hypocrite. And if you want to get fancy with it, well, if you take your sword, your spiritual, the Bible, which is your spiritual sword, and you turn it on yourself, look at the wounds, look at the cut. Cuts will heal over. Look at the cuts, and those cuts could be prior instances or prior problems that you may have had, that you turned to the scriptures, that that particular time you didn't get carnal, but you chose to turn to the word and do what it is that you needed to do and lean on the Lord. All right, those will leave marks. That sword that you used to cut yourself left a mark, and that mark is something you can look back on and use it as a building block and a learning tool. So you can, look at those spiritual healed cuts on your body and remember the Lord brought you through. There was nothing that you could have done to get your way out of it. It was just a situation that you had to be in. I mean, barring if it was something that some stupid decision that you did on your own. But, whatever comes upon you, you look and you be introspective and you lean on the Lord. You remember every time that you lean on the Lord, and that troubled time didn't last very long. It may have seemed like you were in that ugly situation for a long time, but again, if you be introspective, look within yourself, and look back on that situation, do a little armchair quarterbacking, a little Monday morning quarterback, review the plays. You can see that situation didn't last very long, and there were certain things that the Lord did for you that helped you along the way, that kept you boosted, that kept you in high spirits, that was able to get that you were able to keep it or bear in mind. Let me slow down, getting a little excited. That you were able to bear in mind that the Lord, Yahweh Bashmi Outside, is capable of any and everything, and whatever situation that you were in it for a reason. All right, you didn't allow it to be an L, you allowed it to be a learning experience. And so will the rest of the issues be, all the way up until, that time where it's, the mandatory implementation, where it's time to just completely detach from this society, which, again, we are coming very close to having to do. Also, that's something we should also keep in mind, keep at the forefront of your thoughts, that this shit is temporary. All right, everything that you have, if you can make some gain along the way, fine, within the confines of the law. If you can make some gains along the way without compromising yourself, excellent. Do that. But just remember, you're not here to heap up all things, right? You're not here to heap up these treasures that are moth-eaten and carnal and are going to be gone in an instant. Remember what's important. All right. One, remember what's important. Remember what the Lord has brought you to. Always try and recall everything, all the good things that the Lord has done, and meditate on that. All right, if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're walking upright, if you are, turning your sword on yourself, as the scriptures say, he that judges himself need not to be judged by no man, roughly paraphrased, then walk with your head high. Not in foolish pride, of course, but walk with your head high, knowing that, whatever the Lord chooses to do, be all right with it, and keep walking, keep pushing. And just like every other lesson, just like every other thing that I do,